today, and here we've got Olivia, our producer. We got to bring on the stage India, Colleen, Mena, and Lucy, and me, Natonio, your show host.
This section is about the people's voices. I chose 6 of my friends to have a discussion about the riots and educate them on the events. Do you think the Brixton riots were more of a riot or an uprising?
I feel like a riot is just more of a violent, a random violent thing that happened for a stupid reason. But I feel like an uprising is something when you have casual people, like the members of maybe most likely the working class, where they take action into their own hands because they feel like government officials or people in high positions are taking liberties or just generally don't care about them.
When you think of like an uprising, you think of something that has to happen to create change. For example, like the BLM protests that happened more recently.
I think it's interesting how in history it's kind of been defined as the Brixton riots, but for some people it's the uprising, and it's kind of different point of view that you have some people seeing it as a complete disturbance and a complete and violent thing, but other people who see it as freedom.
And I also feel like in society, especially black people in America, all over the world, I feel like in many cases we feel like we have to take violent or much more aggressive actions to get our voices heard, because I feel like in the media we're very misrepresented.
And why do you think the actions then needed to happen in order for us to have equality now?
It has a lot to do with how black people who have come over to this country from Africa, the Caribbean, and South America, they're not given the same opportunities.
When my parents came to this country, they've always told me from a young age you need to work hard to get to places, and you need to work harder than other people do to be someone. And then I was always told to work hard, but I never thought that it meant that there was only like a selected few. Like I didn't know how hard I needed to work. I thought that if I work really, really hard, I can get to this point. But what you're never told is that there might not be that point even for you.
No matter how hard. When we're young, we're not taught that the system is corrupt. I feel like that's a way to control the mass people, like the working class, to say that this is normal. You have to work to be happy. That's the way it's supposed to go, you know.
As like a kid in primary school, we're not told this kind of thing. We believe this whole system is uncorrupt and is totally fine and
So
it's
true.
normal. And like the fact that I wasn't, as a kid, I haven't found this out until now, that the police were doing this kind of stuff that you don't learn about, that it's possible. You think everything can be so fine and good, and it's all justice and it's all great, and all the books and movies have it all straight and whatever.
Propaganda in society, there's a lot of corruption, that racism is systematic, that when you go out into certain jobs, certain societies, you will be facing these things, we should be prepared from year 4. We shouldn't have to grow up, go to certain areas and bam, racism in my face. Half of us don't even know what racism is, so we're just is this wrong? Is this okay? Why am I just finding this out now? So yeah.
White kids, they're never really taught about racism, and that could lead to
Completely.
Exactly, because it could come to as a child of an immigrant, especially a black immigrant, it's always drilled into you that you're going to face racism, you're going to face misogyny, sexism, whatever, discrimination.
Yeah.
But for a white kid, especially a white male child, cisgendered child, it's always just work hard, just do your best and do what you can, and you will succeed.
Read a lot of books.
Yeah, exactly. And when this white child grows up later into life, maybe when they hit 20 and they start to have friends of different ethnic backgrounds, it's a surprise to them. They start to see world in a different light. So I feel like it's important to educate everybody equally, and teach these, especially more privileged white children, that how they can combat this system.
Do you think the Brixton riots in 1981 were more of an uprising or a riot?
Uprising!